what's decent? Yo, I got a crazy battle against my boy Virdelet. This is his 800 sub special. Now, I was supposed to commentate this before going for PAX East, hence why I didn't have a lot of activity on the channel. But anyway, this is a middle cut battle in which we're only allowed to use the second evolutionary step and third evolutionary chains. So, for instance, Quilladin, Goodbye, you know, things like that. Grovile, you know, you guys get the gist of it. So anyway, he's gonna switch out into his Goodbye after leading off with the Quilladin to sponge my physical attack, hypothetically speaking, but instead I go for the air cutter because I am scope lens with super luck, so that's gonna ensure me 100% crit ratios whenever I use air cutter thanks to the 6th gen mechanic. So now he goes out to Porygon and goes for the ice beam. I knew he was gonna go for the ice beam anyway, but now I'm just gonna switch him to my Roselia. Oh, speaking of which, this particular rule set we're not allowed to use Evalites, or I think it was just one Pokemon which are allowed Evalites, I believe. Hence why he's actually using Porygon instead of Porygon 2, because I believe his Porygon is either Assault Vest and or Evalite. But anyway, I'm just gonna switch out into my physical wall after seeing the Goodbye and I want it inflicting an Earthquake onto me. So I prefer it to go for either Dragon Claw and or Earthquake. I wasn't exactly sure whether he was going to go for the Dragon Claw, hence why I switched out into Crocodile to Intimidate as opposed to going out into Quilladin. I mean, not Quilladin, to, what's the thing called? Tranquil, to go for the air cutter. Switch up my moves and go for the Stealth Rocks, which is great. I'm gonna take this time and go for the Roselia because I want to set up the Toxic Spikes because I have some sort of combination on my party. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit later on, but it's important that I get up my Toxic Spikes, especially since I don't see a potential Defaga on his squad aside from the Staravia. So I'm gonna switch out and preserve my Roselia for a little bit later on. I'm just gonna go out to Crocodile to Intimidate again. Whether he sees this or not, it's actually pretty cool. I do happen to have Dig. The reason that I have Dig is both for Toxic Spikes and because of the leftovers. So for instance, if I was to dig, my Crocodile is supposed to be slow, so if I dig, I recover leftovers, and if I come up again, that's an 80 base damage output, and I'm slower, so I recover 2 leftovers, and at the same time I get 2 damage outputs with the Toxic Spike. So that's why I have Dig instead of Earthquake or Bulldoze. I would rather use Bulldoze, but you know, I just thought it'd be interesting to use the Dig. But then again, when you're faced with a Goodbye that has Earthquake, Dig isn't quite the most optimal thing you can do. So he's just gonna go ahead and take out my Crocodile. I'm just gonna go into my Electabuzz, risk it actually, and go for the Hidden Power Ice. I say risk it because I actually am Choice Scarf, and he could easily go on into his Kabuskin. But the thing about that is I have Toxic Spikes in the field, so switching in and out is not exactly the most optimal thing he can do, question mark, I want to say. I mean, switching out is essential, but at the same time, too many switches when you're poison and Stealth Rocks are up, you know, it's not exactly ideal. That's what I want to try to say. I take that Flamethrower pretty well, so I went out to Roselia for freaking Death Fodder. I'm like, yo, I could actually sponge the Flamethrowers and go for the Synthesis, but that's not happening. It's actually a case of min-max roll, so my Roselia bites the dust to the Combuskin. I'm just going to switch into my Machoke. It is Assault Vest, as if I would have the Guts Machamp, except it is a Machoke instead of Machamp. And I do have the Low Sweep just in case he wanted to switch out to something else, and I'll just go for like a knockoff. Let's say for Kadabra, he will switch that in, and I'll just go for the knockoff and kill up Kadabra. So that's why I have Low Sweep as opposed to having things like Cross Chop and or Dynamic Punch. Now, he assumed that I was going to switch into my Electabuzz, and I almost was about to, but I figured that was a little bit too obvious, so I'm just going to go ahead and retaliate with the Ice Punch, finish off the Staravia. Even if he did go for the Brave Bird on the Machoke, that is a free switch into my Choice Scarf, Electabuzz, and I'm just going to be able to go for the Volt Switch for momentum. So that was actually a good play that I stayed in with the Machoke, and now down goes my Machoke to the Kadabra, and I'm going to switch into my Electabuzz, which happens to be Choice Scarf. So if he decides to stay in, I could just go for the Volt Switch, sacrifice my Tranquil, and then afterwards go for a secondary Volt Switch again. So now everything is poison with the exception of his, well, Staravia is out of the match actually. So I was just about to say with the exception of Staravia, but I forgot the Staravia is actually out. I just took it out. But anyway, I'm just gonna Volt Switch out into my Tranquil. I'm gonna set up the Tailwind as opposed to finishing off with the Air Cutter, because what that does is actually puts pressure onto him to switch out into his Porygon as opposed to switching out into Kadabra and finishing off my Tranquil with the one-hit shot with the Psychic and or maybe Shockwave, I believe it might have. So I do that instead of actually going for the Air Cutter right off the bat, so that he can switch in Porygon, and that in that case scenario, I can actually get off 2 Venoshocks and finish off the Porygon, provided that he does switch that in, as opposed to, in the case scenario, the Kadabra comes in, and then I'll be forced to go for the Volt Switch with my Electabuzz, sacrifice Nidorino, and then afterwards go for a secondary Volt Switch, and then Porygon could try attack and probably finish off my Electabuzz. So it was actually pretty crucial that I went for the Tailwind on that particular turn. So now in comes the Porygon. Like I said, I thought he was going to switch it in, and he's just going to go for the Ice Beam and finish it off. He is poisoned, so now I doubt out, despite, even if he has Psychic, it probably won't finish it off because I am not 252 in speed. I run just enough speed to outspeed Kadabra with a little bit of HP investments on it. Because I figured that when I was making this team, I figured that Kadabra and Haunter are going to be two really big threats. And especially since I have the Tailwind up too. So just in case I actually have to outspeed something else, which would potentially be Choice Scarf, I do have Tailwind to help me out there. So I'm actually able to finish off the Kadabra, the Porygon 2 there. I'm just going to go for the Venom Shock because I am Choice Scarf and Nidorino is going to bite the dust after taking a Psychic regardless of how much HP investments my Nidorino has. It cannot live a Psychic from the Kadabra, which is alright because I do have Electaball coming from my Electabuzz because I am Scarf, Electaball, you know? So that's going to be able to take out the Kadabra and that is a 1-0 victory. I had a great time doing this kind of setup. This is the kind of matches that I kind of look for, you know, so I really had fun. Like I said, guys, go check him out. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like to both his version and my version. And if you guys want to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe to me and him as well. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you very much. Peace. What you doing?